In the last video I mentioned shooting with a flipper. It's just a release aid made out of some leather. Goes around your little finger thusly, then it wraps around the string. This is a tricky bit. One end goes that way, one end goes that way, such that when you loose, the two ends open up and you get a nice clean straight loose. There's an arrow that will sit on the string. Yep, there we go. So you pull back, and then as you open, just open your finger and thumb. The two halves open up, you get a clean straight loose. That's the theory anyway. Feels very weird to shoot initially, and the suede side of the leather tended to grip, but a good dose of beeswax polish on it and it was alright. So that's what you've actually got with the string going through there. Then as you relax it, it opens up from each side and the string zips out the middle. There we are, that shows the arrow on the brush rest and on the string. So now you'll see I can in theory draw the arrow right back to here rather than there, which can give me a very short aerodynamic arrow. Now it looks slightly on the skew because maybe the brush rest is in the slightly off to one side, or it's just the alignment of everything. Bear in mind this is all a lash up and the bow's probably not mounted exactly at 90 degrees to this, but there again the grip's at an angle anyway, so the whole thing's a bit wibbly wobbly. I can trim the brush rest a little bit to make the arrow sit more central if I think that's how it should be, but of course it should be central between the two limbs of the bow. So that'll be some of the tuning really. So that is actually ready to shoot. Right, I'm having a test shot. Let's get in position with my flipper. I hope I'm in picture. Yeah, that's knocked too high. Damn it. That's better. Now my flipper's fallen off. Let's see if I can get this away. Flipper released stupidly early. Feels a very heavy draw because it's early draw one. Right, I just had a much more successful test shot. The thing that was missing is I didn't have a knocking point, so the back of the arrow was sliding up, the bottom was going down, it was falling all over the shot. So the pressure from the flipper was just lifting the back of the arrow up. But now I've got a knocking point, it's all a bit more stable. There, I've slipped off the arrow rest and it's rubbing on the bow just there, so that knocking point's still too high. People don't often realise how much fiddling and fettling there is. So anyhow, I'll put on it's a big, bulky, ugly knocking point, but it will do for now, just to try and work out where it should be. Hopefully the arrow will stay on the blinking string a bit better now. And it's still going down and touching the woodwork. Now and the bow's canted a bit in the grip. There we go. it's all a bit of a one shot and reassemble it. Ah, that's perhaps what it is. The bow's shifting up. Yeah, if the bow kicks up here, it's effectively relatively raising the knocking point. Ah, that would be it. Yeah, something I need to watch out for. So it's all diagnosing the hows and whys and wherefores of what's actually happening. I always say solving problems is easy. The hard thing is finding what the problem is. That'll do for now, boys and girls. I want you to all think about that. Right, in order to overcome the problem of the bow slipping, I've added a couple of little wooden blocks above and below where it sits in the handle. And they're very small, so they won't stop it flexing, and they'll be bearing on the leather anyway. So it's all a bit of a jigsaw now to fit it together. So that goes through like that, and there's just enough room for it to miss the brush rest. We rotate it, then it slides, and you can see how the blocks work. And then we add the key section up the front. It's a bit like one of those kids' wooden puzzles you used to get. So there we are. So hopefully now the bow can't shift up and down, which should mean I can get a reliable knocking point. Right, now I've been able to remove that second knocking point I added, and I've got the arrow sitting quite nicely, perhaps slightly high, but I'll be able to give it another test now anyway and see how it shoots. Right, so here we go. That went quite impressively. The point of the arrow was getting a bit low near here, so perhaps that knocking point needs to go down a whisker. But the nice thing is the bow's good and stable in the grip now. It's free to move a little, but it can't fall down. Well pleased with that. I think it loosed slightly early, but I could have had the flipper wrapped around my finger a bit further. It's one of those things that needs a bit of mastering. Also the arrow's stuck in at a horrible angle, so not really sure what's going on there.